Welcome to a very special evening edition of Day 4 with the man Frank Scalish. It is a Sunday evening show, kind of a little bit of an impromptu show. Talked to Frank this afternoon. I got home from back-to-back Bassmaster Open EQ tournaments in Tennessee and Missouri, and said, you know what, let's fire up the old in-studio and have a little special Day 4 with Frank Scalish. So, Frank, thanks for jumping on a Sunday, taking precious time away from your NFL football.
Hey, I already watched the NFL football that I needed to watch, and that was the 1 o'clock Browns game where they handily took care of business, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Because after the Pittsburgh game, it was I wasn't really 100% sure how that was going to go.
I'm sure all of the Day 4 listeners would like to know your thoughts on Taylor Swift showing up in Travis Kelce's box sitting with his mom at the Chiefs game.
Okay, so Travis Kelce went to school at Heights High where my son played football.
Really?
Literally.
So you got an inside track on this?
3 miles down the road from where we live. Yeah, 100%. I'm just I'm just waiting for her song to come out about him.
Yeah. It's an intriguing development. I don't think since Jessica Simpson was in Tony Romo's corner has there been a singer NFL athlete like that.
I don't know. You know what? Power to her, power to him. I mean, life goes on.
I'm impressed you knew that. That's a little bit of a pop culture reference there. So I mean, you're with the times, Frank.
Yeah, it's strange. It's strange. I kind of dig her anyway.
I do too.
She's got something about her that's really appealing.
The only problem is I did run across an Instagram post that said, here are all the instances where Taylor Swift has rhymed car with the word bar in her songs. Like
it was like 5,
I'm in the car, you're in the bar. And
how many was it?
It was like 9 or 10.
Okay, well, yeah, we're gonna have to,
But I'm still I'm a closet Swiftie.
Yeah, I think I might be too.
Yeah,
I might be too.
Is.
But yeah, it's pretty cool.
You gonna talk about some fishing?
Absolutely, I'm dying to talk about fishing.
Okay, so we jumped on, and I haven't talked to you over the last 2 weeks. I've been busy, just barely missing checks at both Watts Bar and Lake of the Ozarks, which
that's great.
I can assure you, you know this too. Moral victories pay absolutely nothing.
They pay nothing.
I talked to you before the show, and I caught up, and I said, "Hey, you've been fishing," and you said, "I have a problem." A serious problem. But we weren't able to get into it because then I was like, hey, we got to go live because we didn't go live Thursday. What is your serious problem, Frank?
I'm angry with you, Matt.
You can't say that. You can't say that while laughing because that's even worse.
Okay, so all right, so we're going back in time to last January when I came down to Matt's studio, and we did some crappie fishing, and it was some of the most fun that I've had in a long time actually fishing, to be honest with you guys. It was just different for me because I never used forward facing sonar. I never had it. It was very different, and it was very fun. And
savage. I'm just throwing up some comments here.
The fans are the fans are just that's so funny. Oh my God, until just now. That's absolutely priceless. What are we talking about? Bradley, I don't know what the hell we're talking about.
I just throwing up. I like throwing up little comments during. If you're listening on iTunes, you gotta go to the YouTube there.
Yeah, because you throw me off sometimes when the comments.
I know, because you got to read it, but all I do is that I see Brad's comment, "No checks for you" in the
gotcha.
Voice from Seinfeld. No checks for you. Which is which is 100% true.
Oh my gosh. So yeah. So anyway, back to
Back to why
last
you're
January.
upset with me after I didn't cash your checks.
So Frankie got all the new latest and greatest technologies on his boat.
Yep.
And he gave me his Lowrance Gen 1 forward facing sonar transducer and box. So we hooked it up on my boat early this year. So I've been tinkering with it.
Okay.
And in the springtime I went out to learn how to use it. So I was chasing crappie around, spring's kind of easy. You go to a boat dock, you scan it. There's 25, 30 crappie around the boat dock. Anyway, but it was getting me used to, how fast to move the pedal, how slow to move it, how to stay on one fish when it's moving and stuff like that. And I sucked at it. I mean, I caught the crap out of the crappie because it was springtime.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I sucked at it. So it was frustrating me. So I needed to get better at it. And to be honest with you, I haven't pulled up on a ledge or a rock pile and seen bass on them yet. So I said, well, I'm going to crappie fish a little more than normal so I can get used to how this thing works and where that cone angle is and where I need to be. Anyway, long and short of it is I get it dialed in. And so now the crappie they're still hanging on some of the ledges. They're not up super shallow yet. They're hanging on some of the ledges. And now I'm hunting them down. And I have been having way too much fun doing this, and it's becoming a problem because I have not literally bass fished in 3 weeks.
Yeah, this is me for the last 3 years.
Dude, this is what I have now. This is my crappie box.
Can we go through it?
Yeah, we'll go through it. So,
right.
Okay, so as you can see, I re-upped my membership to Bassmasters.
Nice. They sent you that?
Yeah, so I got this and I said, hey, you know what? That would be perfect for this new adventure I'm on. And so you see, like everything else in my boat, where the heck is that?
You're not kidding, because when you were here, we were supposed to do a daily BTL and we ended up doing one, and you said, screw it, I don't want to take away from crappie fishing for the other two.
100%.
And I was the responsible one, and you were the one who talked me out of additional BTL shows so 100%. We could go crappie fish.
Yeah, in fact, we had a chance to go hammer on some major bass.
Yeah, like 24 to 30 pounds.
So Matt's like, you want to go? We could go.
Hopefully,
we could go catch some nice bass right now. And I'm like, no, let's go catch those big giant crappies again. So that's what we did. So I hate you and I thank you at the same time, because I learned a ton, and it's helped me with my forward facing sonar game. I am not going to become a forward facing sonar guru, but I wanted to learn how to do it. Yeah, I knew this was coming. Hey, Clay, you just never know, dude.
Clay said Frank had to re-up the membership for the Opens.
That's right. You never know, but I have to be prepared. Okay.
Okay. Back to the crappie.
So lo and behold, LureNet says, hey, Bobby Garland has this new crappie bait out, and we need a video really quick. Can you do one? And I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I can, because normally all I'm doing is bass stuff. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I can do this. And so they sent me the new crappie baits, and I had a chance to go put them to the test, and caught literally tons of crappies. So anyhow, I want to show you my crappie box, because this is so me to the nth degree with my OCD problem. And
you realize literally tons would be 4,000 crappie, because a ton is 2,000, and tons would imply plural tons, which would be at least 2 tons, which would then be 4,000 crappie, Frank.
Let's just call that a slight embellishment then. Yet I embellish. So I created this little crappie box that I can literally just grind. Oh, what the hell?
I'm just thinking of all the great sound clips, and I'm going to take that one little clip right there. There's so many options with it. All right, back to the crappie box.
I could only imagine where that's coming in. The Italian way. So anyhow, I'm getting ahead of myself. Slow down, dude. You're getting me all jacked up over crappies. This is so bad for me.
This is good. This is good.
So I took to heart what I learned from you, and when you open this up, there's three 3600s and one tiny box.
Perfect.
Okay, this is all I need. So I can just grab this and run, and I don't need anything else. So the most important key element in my box, besides the lures, is the jig heads themselves. So because I am 100% completely anal.
Wow, that's that's the most organized crappie jig head box I've ever seen. No lie.
Wait, and you haven't seen anything yet because I custom painted a lot of them.
Ooh,
yeah.
I think color matters when we're doing this, and
it does.
Style of fishing.
So I started matching the Bobby Garland stuff. There's pink and whoa, where'd it go? Pink and chartreuse
with the little screw lock keeper.
Yeah, I poured these myself.
Will you bring some of those when you come in?
This whole thing's coming with me.
No, but will you make some for me with the screw lock heads?
Yeah.
Because you left a couple last time, and I straightened the hooks out on them, but I need some more.
You're right. My hook's a little light wire, little too light, as I learned. It's
all good.
Anyway, the other thing is,
but what color of the Bobby Garland did you match that head to? Because I saw that one, and it is is it a match to Electric Chicken?
Oh, it is 100% Electric Chicken match.
Okay, let me see if I can pull Electric Chicken up.
Oh well, here, let's not go too far, because
you have one?
Oh, do I have one? I have my crappie box here, dude. I have my crappie box here.
Okay. Well, we're still on the jig head box, but I just wanted to show people how that jig head matched the bait perfectly.
Okay, so if I get the Baby Shad Electric Chicken out. I don't know how to hold the damn thing.
Perfect.
Oops, I can't show you that. That's the Electric Chicken.
Yep.
And then do I have to should I show you the jig head again?
Yeah, show me the jig head with it.
All right, so hold on.
Because it is sexy.
Yeah, it's right on the money. This is crazy. I can't believe we're doing this.
Why?
This is not a real crappie show. We are going to talk bass fishing in a very short.
No, we can talk. We can do a whole crappie show. I don't care. Up a little. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. That is perfect. That is the Electric Chicken head to go with the Electric Chicken body. And when that is paired together, it looks like a morsel.
It is a morsel. It is a crappie slamming. Oops, I didn't rig it up because.
Yeah,
but it's a crappie slamming machine. So anyhow, so thanks to that. Now I have some secret tricks I'm working on too, which I can't 100% show you guys yet because I think it might find its way into Bobby Garland here pretty soon. So I can't show you, but because I make things, I saw a need for something, so I made it.
What else you got in the jig head box that you can show?
Well, I have my Roadrunners in the box.
Yeah, underutilized in muddy water for vertical fishing.
Crazy. It's crazy. So the other day we were out and I went to the muddy section of the lake. The fish were not as finicky and they weren't as skittish when I got on top of them. So the wind kicked up to like, it was blowing so hard I could hardly hold the boat in one spot. So it made forward scanning almost impossible. because it was swirling through the valley and I couldn't keep the boat, in one place. So I told my buddy, I said, dude, we're just going to go upwind and drift Roadrunners. There's 1,000 crappie on this flat. We're going to drift Roadrunners. So I used a 703 Powell Naked Series rod, which is it's a light rod. But it weighs nothing, but it's got a decent backbone to it. So we go upwind and we start drifting down, and I'm using the forward facing sonar on my drift. I'm using that forward facing sonar to make sure
you drift over the schools of crappie.
100%. And so we pounded them. We literally pounded them, and most of them came on the Roadrunner. That day, most of them came on the Roadrunner.
Now, were you casting and drifting, or were you just kind of putting it straight down and drifting over them?
No, I would quarter cast and then let the swing happen, kind of like the wall guys do with wakeboards, and then it would get to me, and then I would just make sure that I kept the boat using the forward facing, kept the boat over the fish that we were drifting over, and it was ridiculous.
And just a light, just a nice tick, and then wait, and you just reel into them.
Right. 100%.
Oh, that's the best. And most of them probably had it sucked all the way back.
Oh yeah, dude. It was in the roof of their mouth, and they got it. So the crazy thing is that I used the Roadrunner all the time in my old crappie adventures. Because that's how I just fish for them. I didn't have forward facing sonar. I didn't do none of that. I would just go out, idle around, find them, side image. You could see them on side imaging too. So I would side image, find them, and then I would go fish at them conventionally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just horizontal cast conventionally. So, the baby shad, this little slab hunter, typical stuff works really well on this thing. So then I get the phone call from work, and they're like, hey, you got to do the Bobby Garland thing. And I'm like, oh, I'm 110% in.
1 second. Is it this one right here?
It's the live roamer. That's it. The Bobby Garland live roamer.
Yeah. I had never heard of that until like 2 seconds before the show.
Right. Because it literally just came out. So in my crappie box, this is my live roamer box. Okay, and you can see it's all labeled up and everything.
Hold on.
Upside down.
I'm getting there. There you go.
So
that's just obscene.
Yeah, so this is my live roamer box, okay? So here's the cool thing. I have to talk about this because this is really a cool thing.
I think we'd officially declare this a crappie show. You good with that?
Yeah, I am, as long as nobody tunes out. Don't leave.
No, it's
guys.
day 4 with Frank Scalish. It's not day 4 bass fishing with Frank Scalish.
Okay, so I did the video. Now, this is crazy. So I've been fishing these things and catching fish on them. So I do the video. My camera guy, Joe, is on an elk hunt, and he's filming an elk hunt. So he's only going to have, when he gets back, we're going to have 2 hours to get this show. Period.
That's some stress.
So I said, what we're going to do is we're going to just do a studio piece, and I'm going to talk about the live roamer, the 4 ways to fish it, how to rig it, blah blah blah. So, and I'll show the baits, and I'll show the rigging and talk about some situations, but we're not going to have time to go to the water, et cetera, et cetera. So I lay the video out, and the video's fantastic. Crappie Talk Live. So anyhow, so the video was supposed to air Friday, I think, or yesterday maybe, I don't know. It never aired. So I'm like, what's going on? And they said, you got one of the color names wrong.
Oh no. And
I'm like, what do you mean I got a color name wrong? You know what I mean? Because
color's your thing.
Color's my thing, but I wasn't as advanced in the crappie world as you are, Matt. So I've never heard a lot of these
Yes.
color names before. So in the live roamer, okay, it has 3 colors exclusively to the live roamer. See, and I can't even remember the damn name. Okay, so this is Blue Shiner.
Okay.
All right, pretty little color, Blue Shiner. It's pretty color. And one of my favorite colors is what the hell is this? Speckled Pearl? It's speckled pearl, okay? It's almost like monkey milk, but it's not, doesn't have the blue pearl tint in it. All right. So that's a really good color. So they have this other color that really intrigued me for clear water. It really intrigued me. It's called pecan cream. Well, this is pecan cream, which it's kind of unique for clear water. Yeah, you'll just pull it up. That'll be better.
And then hold on, and then I'll put you big screen. I just thought it was cool that I was able to do that.
It was very cool. And so anyway,
all right, hold the pecan cream back up. Sounds like
okay,
we're about to have coffee tonight.
So pecan cream. All right. So in my video, I said pecan shad.
Oh.
Never caught it.
Oh.
I never caught it. Joe literally edited it out on the airplane. They had a 2-hour delay, so he edited on the plane. Sent it to me. He couldn't email it to me, so he texted it to me. So I watched it on my cell phone, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. And all I looked for was, did I get the techniques in proper order, et cetera, et cetera. I didn't listen to every word. I mean, I did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm like, why isn't that video airing? And they're like, well, because you got the color wrong. On one of their 3 exclusive colors, you got it wrong. You said pecan shad and not pecan cream. And I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah, that one's on
you know what I mean?
Frank.
That was totally on me. So anyway, so real quick, and then we'll move on, but real quick. So this bait is really wild because that little tail on it vibrates like mad in the water.
It doesn't look that, I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't look that exciting.
That's what I thought.
It looks stupid. Just like, yeah, that's a fair assessment.
Right. So that's what I thought. Okay. Because I'm a critic when it comes to baits.
Yeah, you want something that looks like it's gonna wiggle, undulate, vibrate,
something. Right. So unbeknownst to me, when I put this thing in the water, that little tail is just sitting there doing all this nonsense.
Really?
Which is crazy, especially when the cold water period comes to play.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. So then I said, well, okay, this is cylindrical. There's really no top, no bottom. It's cylindrical. Okay. So the one way you could rig it is the normal way. And that's just the normal way, a bait fish would be back color on the back, belly color on the belly, piece of cake, right? Well, because the bait's cylindrical, if you know how in certain times, Matt, you'll attest to this, you'll get the crappie, they come up and then they peel off.
Yeah, they literally put their nose on the bait, and there's something about it that it doesn't make them commit, and they just drift into oblivion.
So now you can totally reverse this bait without hurting the action of it or anything because it's symmetrical. So now, like here, like on Electric Chicken, I put the pink on the belly and the chartreuse.
Oh, and it still looks right.
And it still looks right.
Oh, that looks like a totally different bait. That's weird.
100%, dude. 100%. And so now if they're coming up to the bait, that means they're okay with your color scheme.
Mm-hmm.
But something's turning them away. Something's not triggering them to eat it. So now if you switch the bait upside down, they might get up there and see that different belly color and take the bait.
Because it's all about gut bags.
100%. Just like what I preach when I paint. It's all about the gut bag. And so that's the that's one of the cool, really super cool things about this bait. It's really versatile. So there's another way to rig this, and I never thought about it, and I'm pissed at myself for not thinking about it, because it's called the dying rig. You rig it dying, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a natural shad color that they got here, which by the way, this thing is as real as it gets in the water.
Yeah, that looks just like a minnow.
It's just real. So the dying minnow rig, and forgive me because I'm just using the same jig head because I got it out.
Yeah.
So the dying minnow rig, and I can't really see good in the dark here.
You can use the spectacles.
Yeah, thanks, Ichabod Crane. So the dying rig, I'm going to rig it sideways on the bait.
Oh,
so that's the normal way. That's sideways. So now what happens is when you drop it down and then you move it back up and you drop it down, it rocks back and forth because you're using it sideways. And it's another great trigger quality. So the bait kind of impressed me a little bit. You know what I mean? And I got excited over it. And I've been having really good luck fishing the thing. So I'm like, okay, cool. So it's a medium-sized bait. It's not quite as big as like some of the other crappie baits, which I also have the big stuff too, because you want to appeal to a better quality. This is all my big stuff in here.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the big stuff, Frank.
Yeah, well, you should be, because where the heck you're fishing, dude, you have Amazon size crappies. Like they're Amazon size. Where I fish, an Amazon size crappie could be a 15-incher. You know what I mean? I mean,
yeah, I hear you.
I've seen what's being put out in your world, dude, and I'm jealous. I'm like,
you'll get a
jealous.
taste of it this year.
Oh, I'm gonna get it.
We're a month away, dude.
So yeah, and trust me when I tell you, dude, I'm ready. Like okay. I'm ready. I have it all.
October is kind of booked. It's gonna be. My November is wide open, except for the first week.
Yeah, so it's crazy, but I have some tricks that I'll show you that I can't really disclose yet.
Okay. What was that? Can you not?
That's what I can't disclose.
Oh, I think I know what that is. That's kind of a hybrid of what you brought the last time you were here. It's kind of a hybrid,
and it has a distinct purpose. And so I've been testing it out, and it is absolutely deadly.
Really?
Like it's like ludicrous.
Because here's what you don't understand. A lot of times when we're getting into these late fall, early winter crappie, it's a bite that is a coaxed bite.
Oh,
it is
100%.
a power coaxed bite, if that makes any sense, because you're putting the bait in front of a fish that you know is a big fish, that you know is looking at it. And unless it is a banner day where they're eating anything within 3 feet of them, you are literally moving it, convincing it, and you can see that fish deciding whether or not it wants to take it. So for those who say, hey, all you need is black and chartreuse and white, there are times where you will literally watch these fish swim away, like the tiniest, minutest detail on whether it's a quiver, whether it's a fall, whether it's a natural feather. That all makes a difference in the way that we're catching these fish, especially when it comes to like a roamer, something that's designed for use in combination with forward-facing sonar.
Right, and the roamer's nice because it works great on the Roadrunner. It doesn't impede the rotation on the blade, because if you use a fatter body style, sometimes it hits the blade and your blade doesn't rotate properly. So the live roamer works really good on that. I'm so sorry to be talking about crappie today.
Why are you sorry? I'm enjoying it thoroughly. So are all the listeners. Kirk would like to know if you've ever caught one of those giant Erie crappie.
If he's talking about the brown and gold, the bronze colored ones, yes. No, you know what? There's some estuaries off of Lake Erie that I crappie fish in, mostly in the springtime, and I catch them, and they got some pretty good sized crappies in them.
Donald said, what is the best season for crappie fishing? I would like to try for them. I'll be interested in your take on this, and then I'll give mine.
Okay, so I was really going for the easiest time in the world to catch them is in the spring.
Yep.
That's the easiest time. That's when everybody is a crappie fisherman because all the crappie
you can take
in.
a cork and a tube jig and a 16th ounce jig and find shallow brush or rock, or depending on where they're spawning,
or even grass.
Or grass, pitch it up, slowly reel it in, pop it, and catch them.
Right. So I would say the easiest time to fish for them is pre-spawn, spawn, and post-spawn. That's when I'm pitching that Roadrunner out there. I'm not wasting time begging nothing to bite. They're going to eat it. Those are the best times to catch them. My favorite time in the world to catch them is with Matt in the winter time. But I didn't have time to wait for winter, so I've been doing it now. It's different now because I'm not running one or two down. I'm still finding groups of 10 to 20, sometimes 30.
That's how we just did it. We did it on was it Labor Day? Recently?
Yeah, I think
Labor Day. I always get Labor Day Memorial. On Labor Day, I went out with my buddy Juice, and we put a 74 fish limit in the boat.
Yeah, you texted me, you go, we got 3 more to go. And then you texted me like right back. It was literally 3 minutes later. He goes, we're done.
Yeah. And it was groups. They were still on well, we found them on like isolated log, like laydowns.
Right.
But they were in like 20 foot of water, and they were all around it. They was not the isolated that pick them off. It was you drop it down into the jumbled mass that you're seeing on 2D, and you're forward facing. We're just dropping straight down on it and catching them. But we caught 74 doing it.
Yeah, and that's how I've been doing it.
And in a month and a half, that'll change to where you'll be targeting 1s or 2s. But you need forward facing sonar to do that.
Yeah, you need like what I was doing the same thing. I was picking channel drops.
Yep.
Or flats that came up, high spots that came up, but deeper, 15 feet.
And you can do that with 2D sonar with side imaging very easily. You go across it, you drop your marker buoy, you go back. You can even drop an anchor if you want then and be right there and either cast to it or get on top and vertically jig it over with your 2D. That's how it's been done for decades.
Right. And we did a combination of both. When I was, because they were on isolated wood, whether it was a sunken blowdown that, they float and then they sink, or a stump, or just a random piece of object down there. They were on it. And so what happened was we were running down the lake, and I had never been on the lake. Well, that's not true. I ice fished the lake twice in my life. But I never had a boat on the lake, and I was running down the lake, and I said, whoa. I came across this flat, and on my 2D sonar, I kept seeing these things, little boop, boop. Those are stumps. I spun the boat around and started scanning forward facing, stump, stump, stump. I side imaged it. I said, holy crap. So I side imaged the whole thing, and I put every stump in my GPS.
Perfect. And then you could just slide up on them.
100%.
Were you using the 12 and 14 foot rod?
Oh yeah, the 14 footer. Yeah. And so there was a time when I was scoping for my buddy. You know how me and you did it, Matt? We just took turns catching them.
Yep.
So I was scoping them out for my buddy. But what I did first was I dropped mine down, saw how deep it went, got it 2 feet above where the fish were at. And I just held it over to the side of the boat, like with my arm out over the side of the boat. And I'm working him. He's standing in front of me. And I'm looking at the screen so I can keep the fish on a screen for him and see his thing go down. I caught 4 while I was scoping for him. And so, you know what I mean? So once you're at the right depth, which you always want to be above them, because suspending crappie always feed up. They never feed down.
It's because their eyes are on the top of their head.
They're like,
they can't see what's below.
They're like a flounder.
They are. They're like They're like a squished flounder.
Right, they're like a flounder if you folded them in half and put his eyes in the right place.
They
But
really are.
yeah, they're very cool. So yeah, so I wasn't gonna go. I wasn't gonna talk about this, but
That's fun.
I'm so jacked up over it because it's live scoping's new to me. And so I'm excited that I'm getting better at it. I still don't rely on it all the time, but Matt, when you fished with me, you made a point. You said I'm not really using it properly. Remember when we went bass fishing and I said,
Yeah.
why don't I ever see the bass?
Mm-hmm.
You said, well, you're not really using it properly, and you went over some stuff with me, and I said, oh, okay. So that's what I've really been focusing
I didn't say
on.
you weren't using it properly. I said you weren't using it to focus on the bass. Like you were using it to get it. This is the
Stay
way
on my grass lines and stuff.
Yeah, you were using it to have a general idea of where you were, but then you were still traditionally fishing.
Correct.
Composed to where the guys are now, to where they could give a crap what's around, and they're specifically using it to hunt out individual fish. You're using it to find areas where the fish live, where
Correct.
you're matching, you're validating what your picture in your head is with what you're seeing on the screen in front of you.
Right.
The 20 to 25-year-old kids that are dominating the Bassmaster Opens currently
they don't
care less if they were on the surface of the moon. If they see the right dot, they're going after it for an hour.
Correct. Which I don't do. I'll be honest with you. I don't do that. I was excited to get it because I want to up my cranking game.
Yep.
And so what I've been doing with it for crankbait fishing is, especially on grass lakes, I could make accurate casts where before I had it, I would go down the side image the grass line, and I would drop flags down on the edges of the grass.
Mm-hmm.
And so then when I come back and I go back around to fish, I'd have my 2D sonar and my map. And on my map, I would see where my pins were. So I could see where all the grass made little out points and stuff like that, high percentage places. And it's very effective. I've done it my whole life. Before before side imaging, I used 2D and would just go up and down the grass line and mark the edge on my, with my 2D stuff, and then go back and fish it. But what happens is, especially cranking the grass, because what I would do is I would cast, and you only have some idea because you can't put a pin down every foot. So you only have some idea. Well, okay, there's a pin over here, so that's got to be where the grass is, and you make a cast and you bog down right off the rip. Mm-hmm.
Roger using the old leech and bobber. I think he's Montana based.
Yeah, dude, the leech and bobber is deadly. It's deadly for walleye, for crappie, for trout. It's deadly.
Anyway, continue.
Anyway, so back to bass fishing. So I might make 3 or 4 casts and get stuck in the grass before I get to the edge where I can get a clean run. And when I say clean run, you want to tick the grass, but you don't want to bury in it. So you gradually cast over and over and over and over
till you find it.
Till you find it,
which takes time.
It takes time, and you have to have the patience of a saint, because you're throwing a big giant crankbait in grass. And so what happens is, you come back with 4 pounds of grass on the thing, and yet another embellishment. So anyhow.
It depends. That could be realistic. I have reeled in 4 pounds of grass before.
And so anyway, so what the forward-facing sonar for me was doing was giving me a finite place to cast, because now I could actually see it. I could see the grass line underwater. So where I would make 5 or 6 casts to get a good cast, here I might be making 1 or 2 casts to get a good cast. And so it's making my crank game more effective. The other thing is, underwater objects may appear closer. Underwater objects you can see on your forward facing sonar. So now I go, oh, that foundation is over there. Boom, I hit it right away. Like like you don't even miss it. You hit it. And so that's what was exciting me about the forward facing sonar, was that I can fish traditionally the way I do and use this to my advantage. But Matt, you got me addicted on probably the real way you're supposed to use it.
Yeah. Bass wise, it's insane. So this time of the year, I've noticed, and I did it both at Watts Bar and at Lake of the Ozarks, is bait balls and guts.
Oh God, dude.
And it took me a while to figure it out at both of, I didn't figure it out till the tournament at either place, but it was interesting that you take a Tennessee River fishery like Watts Bar and then an Ozark fishery like Lake of the Ozarks, completely different. One has grass. I mean, Lake of the Ozarks river fishery too, but not no current like that. But they set up identical in Tennessee and in Lake of the Ozarks, and there is only one way to target them, and that's with forward-facing sonar, and a number of different baits. But I use a drop shot, and you would see the balls of bait, and sometimes you look for the eye of the tiger with a couple marks on it. You wanted it 20 feet or less. Typically, I use some of your advice to where you get the fish in the back of the pockets to where they have a backboard. So I would look in the back of narrow pockets where they couldn't spread out, and I would look where it had a long flat in the back of the pocket, but it was relatively deep before that. So basically it went like this and then came up, and they would get them in that last basin before it came up, and they'd push those shad up against the back, and you'd have bait balls, and you'd see marks underneath on the forward facing. You'd take the drop shot and you'd pitch it through the bait balls, and you'd watch the marks go out of the bait ball down to the bait and go boom. And I was catching, I caught 30 to 40 a day at Watts Bar in the 3 or 4 hours I did it each day. And I did it on the second day at Lake of the Ozarks, and I caught, you could ask my co-angler, I probably caught 40 in 2 hours doing it. And
it's insane. It's insane.
But the only way you could do it was with the forward facing. But it was crazy how accurate you can be and how many fish are out there. It
is. And, because this is that weird, funky transition time in bass fishing where, the bass, where it might be warm, it might still be in the 80s, but the days are shorter now by a lot.
I agree.
And so the bass, they're using daylight to start actually the bait fish are using the daylight to start getting together to get ready for their migrations. And the bass are doing the same thing, because let's be honest. A bass in 15 or 20 feet of water doesn't know it's 3 degrees cooler in 5 feet.
Yeah.
They have no clue. And so it's all predicated on length of day, just like in the spring, as the days get longer, the bass, start their thing. So it's not predicated on water temperature until the bass actually get there. And then it's predicated on water temperature. So
I enjoy doing it. It's fun. It totally screws your co-angler.
It does.
Beyond any level of hope. Like I told both of them, I said, here, a couple of days I didn't have a co-angler, so that was fine. But I literally said, your best bet is to put a 2.8 Kitech on a 3/8 ounce ball head on a spinning rod and bomb that thing as far as you can, count it down to 15 and slow reel it in. 100%. I said, because I'm doing donuts out here in the middle. I knew that it was a problem when I had a group of bait fish 55 feet in front of me. I could see the bass. I knew 100% if I put it on it that I was going to get bit. And I made a pitch and I heard, "Gunner!" And I had just cast directly into the middle of a docked pontoon boat. That is how I realized, holy crap, I haven't looked up in half an hour. I had totally maneuvered hundreds of yards away from where I thought I was. And there was one row of metal docks, and there's pontoon boats in each slip. And I literally cast into the cockpit of a docked pontoon boat
without even looking up,
with a drop shot, without even looking up. And I was like, okay, I need to reevaluate things like it. And we obviously have seen what it's done on the Elite Series and the MLF.
Yeah.
But I mean, what are you going to do? It's the best way to catch them. What are you going to say? Oh, I'm not going to utilize that.
Because when you're in the cast for cash game,
yep,
it's like any other professional sport. You want the best equipment you could use. You want the latest technology. I mean, do you think pitchers and football players aren't using the absolute best technology they have to make them better?
Yep. That's a great, Matt. Got to get the ice co-angler live scope and level up with the boater. That would be savage if your co-angler brought a handheld live scope. Let's go back to the crappie game real quick and talk a little bit about the Bobby Garland that's available. There's a lot of people that'll listen to this, that'll watch this, that might be like, man, I can look at it. I don't know what I want. Throw a couple of your favorites out. A couple, like, dude, you can spend. We didn't even go through the rest of your boxes. We'll go through the rest of your boxes after this, but you can spend. The good thing about the crappie is you probably built that whole box retail for less than $500.
Oh my gosh, way less.
Yeah, that's if you pay full price retail. Everything.
Yeah, way less. Okay.
Run through the must-haves. Like if you're gonna spend, let's say you're gonna spend $100 on crappie stuff. I mean, I'm looking at the page now, and as you say it, I'll pull it up because I have a feeling I know what you're gonna say.
Okay, so here's the thing. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some baby shads, the Bobby Garland baby shad. The colors in the baby shad, there's a bazillion of them. So I will go with clear chartreuse with silver flake. Here, I could show them to you, but if you can't find them.
Yeah, show them to me.
All right, so we're going to go through this right here now. Okay, so clear chartreuse with silver metal flake. This does a lot of damage for me on slightly off-colored lakes to clear lakes. It's transparent chartreuse. It's not a solid chartreuse like this one. This is what I would call, I don't know what they call it. They're going to be so mad at me, but I don't know what they call it. But it's like a blue pearl chartreuse. See how one's transparent and one's solid.
Yeah, there is a billion colors, or else I would try to.
I swear to God. So anyway, so that's where I'm going with the chartreuse. And then of course I'm not going to leave home without electric chicken.
Yep. Because
that gives you the best of both worlds. It gives you a hot color and it gives you the chartreuse with the silver metallic belly. But it's
electric chicken is in my top 3 as well. Electric chicken is a must-have for crappie anglers, and regardless of where you are 100%. In the country. That is one of the 3.
And then I'm going to tell you, you're just going to need pearl, just regular pearl, because it's a good bait fish imitator, especially in dirty water. And then monkey milk, which is like a blue.
We did not talk about that. That is one of my other two out of my top 3.
Right. And so realistically, that's, if I said, what do you bring it? That's what you're going to bring. If you have nothing else, that's what you bring. There's offshoot colors like of chartreuse with the chartreuse back and the pearl belly, which is really nice. Again, but here again, I think you can get away with, the clear chartreuse with the silver flake, if you had to, but you got to have some type of a real looking shad. And I think pearl fits the bill, although their real shad pattern is kind of growing on me a lot.
And this might not be a Ohio thing. You're dealing with a lot of clear water. We deal with a lot of really like really, really muddy water.
Yeah, I can't believe what you
So
fished.
my third favorite color is a black chartreuse belly.
Yeah, and see, and I have those. I do have that one in the live roamer. I do have that in my live roamer box right here. Whoop, right here.
There you go. But if those were the three colors, it'd be electric chicken, monkey's milk, and black chartreuse. Those are the three. You can literally buy 2 packs of each of those, and you're out like $23, and they're at either LureNet, they're at Walmart.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, the crazy thing is that you get like 10 or 12 in a pack, and you'd be surprised you don't go through a ton of them. I mean, you'll go through.
You don't
them,
with that special jig head that you've got.
No, the screw lock head is money. Yeah. It keeps them on.
Aside from the screw lock head, then so other shapes. That's the 2-inch original baby shad. Right,
and then the other cool one that I've been monkeying around with is the, I think is it 2.5 inch, the baby swimmer, with the little tiny paddle tail on the end of it.
Yep, that's a good one. I don't use that one as much. It is the 2.25 inch baby shad swimmer.
Right. So I've been catching them on this one too recently. And that's pretty sweet. And then of course, you've got
the slab hunter is my favorite.
The slab hunter. Have the slab hunter.
That's what we used.
And the cool thing about this is it comes in different sizes, so you can get a big one or a small one. So if you're fishing traditionally places that don't have giant crappies, you can still get, you can still buy the smaller slab hunter. So,
but in all honesty, those plastics will do you right just about anywhere in the country for crappie.
They will.
Because you've got one that's got a little kick. If you want to cast that slab hunter, you can vertically fish it. You can fish it underneath a slip cork. You can jig it. You can put it in front of their face. You can do it all. And then 16th and 1/8 ounce jig heads.
Yeah, I don't get crazy with it either with that. I don't have a million different size jig heads. If you're vertically dropping on them, you control everything, so this jig head doesn't matter as long as the hook fits the bait properly. So you get maximum movement out of your bait. The size of the jig head doesn't matter. But if you're casting and retrieving, the weight of the Roadrunner or the weight of the jig head will matter, because you can't burn them in. You have to swim them above the fish. So that's really where the weight becomes more important.
And then if we're going to get real honest, the majority of the time in the winter, I'm using a crappie lure that is 4 inches or bigger.
Yeah, because they're feeding on bigger bait.
Yeah, I'm using I'm basically, you could take Christie's sonar minnow and just use that as a crappie bait.
You could take Gray Lakes Finesse too. I was catching them on that the other day.
Yeah, that Great
Lakes. But I had to cut it down. I'll be honest with you.
We're not cutting it down this way.
And now they're keying in on small stuff, so I had to cut it. I cut it in half, basically.
We're talking about this right here.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, that's what's that, 3 inches?
Yeah.
2 3/4.
2 3/4.
But in like that, like that. Oh my gosh.
Well, that's really cool too, because, and here's the other thing. So monkey milk. Okay. Let's talk about the color monkey milk. I like that because you could use your dye pen on the belly or on the back of monkey milk, but the chartreuse isn't a bright chartreuse. It's a pearly chartreuse. It's really sexy. So you can do that. You know what I mean?
Dude, I'm gonna have to buy a bunch more drop minnows in the next month. And you know what?
Where are you headed?
Here to catch crappie. I don't have hardly any. And
dude,
here,
and those are durable. Those
Yes,
are
and
durable.
if you're going to buy the drop minnows, I am going to use the loyal listener code on lurenet.com, capital BTL23, to receive 15% off of all regularly priced items.
Yeah, that's good too. And remember too, the new colors in the Fat Boys are out, and it's Fat Boy season now. I mean,
But aren't the new
it is.
colors in the DD22 from our
Oh
show
yeah,
last week?
dude.
Aren't those the two colors you designed?
Yeah, well, they're the two colors that I recently designed for Norman, but then the other colors that it's in are the colors I designed prior. They just came out in the deep little N and the Fat Boy first, and now they're in the DD22s. Except
We
for Envy and True Gizzard are brand new colors in there.
Yeah, those are the two that just came out.
Yeah, those are the two brand new
We
ones.
can't do a crappie show. This is a pet peeve of mine, and I know it's a pet peeve of yours as well. If you go out and you catch a mess of crappie, there is a proper way to clean and freeze these fish that lasts for multiple years, or else you end up with a block of crappie in ice, and then some of it's freezer burned, and then when your wife or girlfriend cleans out the freezer, they're pissed that it takes up half of the freezer, and it ends, if you don't have a wild game freezer, and it ends up getting thrown away, and then you waste crappie that could have helped the future generations. Get a vacuum packer.
Money.
You've seen my system.
Money. Dude, I'm using the same one.
You learn how to use a electric fillet knife, first of all.
It makes life simple. I wound up filleting a bunch the other day with my regular fillet knife because I needed a different blade on my electric because I kept going through the damn spinal cord.
I got you.
And so I'm like, I need a thin, flexible blade. This is pissing me off, and I just got my fillet knife out and filleted them.
Let me preface this with this. Any spawning female that you catch from now through the end of the year that's over, I do in Oklahoma, anything over 2 pounds back in the water.
Yeah.
Take a picture, release it for another day.
100%.
That's the breeding population of fish. The spawners, those are the ones that have the genetics.
Yeah.
These are fish that have not really been targeted before forward-facing sonar, so they're we're not really sure what it's doing to the fish population.
It's going to it could decimate it.
It could. There's some like I said, I'm very hesitant to say that because on a big fishery like a Lake Eufaula, zero impact in my opinion. On a small 1,000-acre or less fishery,
like the lakes I got here.
Yes.
Yeah, it could damage.
It could very well damage it. But that's why they have rules and regulations. So basically, for me, it's like anything over 16 goes back, 16 or under goes in the box.
Yeah, I try to up here. I try to stay between 11 and 12 inches up here,
which is a solid I'm
Yeah, they are. Like the other day, I caught one over 1.5 pounds. I let it go.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to fillet that big bastard, but I'm gonna let him go.
But vacuum pack, and this is key. And I learned this from my dad. So when you fillet the crappie, dry pat them on paper towels after you fillet them and wash them, so you have a clean fillet. Then grease a cookie sheet, lay them out on a cookie sheet, and toss them just raw, basically just the fillets in the freezer for about half an hour. What that does is it firms them up. It doesn't completely freeze them, but it takes a lot of those water molecules and freezes them. So then when you vacuum pack them, your seal is wicked tight.
Oh,
there's zero air in them at all. And it takes a little bit longer. So I'm laying the fillets out on the cookie sheet, grease, because or else they'll freeze to them. And then I'm vacuum packing it and then filleting it, and it takes up zero time. And those things are good for 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, the crazy thing is we did that when I was with you. So the first thing I did when I got home is I bought an electric fillet knife, and I bought a vacuum packer, and I bought pre-made bags where you can only seal the one side, and then I bought a roll. And my advice is buy the roll, because it's way more economical, and you can make the bags as big as you need them. The other thing I do is I only put 4 fillets in each bag, enough for 2 people, because I have buddies of mine that walleye fish, and they'll put so many walleye in a bag. If you were only going to do a meal for two, you couldn't thaw the bag out because there's way too much food in there, and you'd have to have a party.
Yeah.
So I just do everything in, for two people, and that's it. And it's really, I think that's the best. See, I learned stuff from you. And then my buddy Ryan that I work with, he was telling me to get a vacuum packer long before I went and fished with you, but I never really thought about it that much. Mm-hmm. And as much hunting as I do, why wouldn't I? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't I? So I got it, and it was one of the best.
I use it for Costco when you buy the strips that are on sale, and then you just vacuum pack them. All right. Something very important that is live right now.
BTL.
No, it is BTL, but this is only available for 4 or 5 days. I think through the 27th or 28th is the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame banquet. Mike Iaconelli, a couple other people going into the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame this Thursday. Glenn Andrews and Bruce Holt, along with Mike Iaconelli. And I'm on the I don't do as much as I should, but I am on the board of directors for the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame. And we have meetings. We're all volunteers on this. And if you've been to the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame in Springfield, Missouri, I'm hijacking the show for 5 minutes, Frank. Sorry.
Dude.
But it'll circle back to you.
Have at it, man.
This is the history of the sport. Kevin Van Dam's on the board, Brandon Polinick. This is one of the coolest things you could ever experience in Springfield, Missouri. The Hall of Fame banquet is coming up. There's also a lot of conservation grants, wildlife, outdoor bass fishing, college degree related grants that the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame gives out each year. It is all based on donations from individuals and from companies. One of the things that they do every year is they do a Bass Fishing Hall of Fame auction on BidPal, and there's tons of jerseys. There's tons of different things that are available for that, and that is one of the main fundraisers for the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame, which is how you basically preserve the history of the sport. So, with that being said, I asked Frank, who humbly agreed, to provide a one-of-a-kind autographed original drawing.
It is
as seen on BTL that is now up for auction on, let's see how good I am at this. Let's do.
You're scaring me. One of one. While Matt's doing that, also you guys you're gonna have to pay attention. I'm gonna tease something out here. I'm gonna have some signature series baits coming out and some legend bait effects series coming out that you're gonna have to pay attention to, because the signature series will be numbered, autographed, and there will be no more made.
Oh.
Anyway, go. I didn't.
Okay, here it is. So bassfishinghof.com. Right now, Frank Scalish, one of one, autograph drawing. This is your chance to own a one-of-a-kind original drawing by professional angler and full-time lure designer, painter, and illustrator Frank Scalish. Frank's artwork has been published in Bassmaster Magazine and Bass Times, as well as many other publications, and his paint schemes and lure designs for Pradco are legendary. Frank also does a weekly show called Day 4 with Frank Scalish, where he teaches people how to become better anglers. This drawing measures 8 by 11 and comes framed. The winner of this item will also receive a phone call from Frank himself. Do you like that description?
I love that description.
I wrote that personally, Frank. I did that myself.
You are so kind. You are so kind.
And there it is right there. Let's see if I can make it. I don't know if I can make it bigger. Can I make it bigger?
I don't know.
I can't make it bigger.
Well, that's a bummer. Here, I can make it bigger. Matt.
Oh, you can make it bigger?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there it is right there. That is
it.
the drawing.
It's still in my hand, and you
That
can
is
see
the drawing.
it's
So that is on the
signed,
paper.
and it
Remember,
says
we did a dock fishing in a brush pile show. And
that's
that
it.
is the actual drawing. Frank signed it,
And
one
numbered it
circle.
1. Yep.
So what you're going to do is you're going to send that to me. I'm going to take it to Hobby Lobby, have it professionally framed, and then mail the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame. Then we'll mail it to the winner. But bassfishinghof.com. This is what the main page looks like right now. And then you just scroll down and you click on the online auctions. And then there's a ton of online auctions. Tomorrow's BTL on Monday. We have, hold on a second. We have Mike McClellan, who's given away a year's supply of Andy's custard and a fishing trip. We have Bernie Schultz, who's given away an offshore trip. We have Fat Cat Newton, who's given away a snakehead fishing trip. And Greg Hackney will be on BTL tomorrow to talk about the details involving his night vision Sasquatch hunt that he is giving away for the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame auction.
Dude, that's so funny.
I've got all 4 of those, as well as Gene Gilliland, who is in the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame, will be my co-host for the day tomorrow. But anyway, you scroll down. There's all sorts of different stuff here if you want to bid on it. And you go to the third page, Bass Fishing HOF. We've done this for a number of years now. There it is. Frank Scalish, 1-of-1 autograph drawing. You win. Frank calls you. You get that drawing in your man cave, 8x11. That is, show that up again, Frank. There it is right there. Guys, it goes to a great cause. I ask for money a couple times a year, one of which is for the St. Jude's fundraiser, which is actually coming up at the end of the year. You guys really came through with me this year. We raised almost $10,000 for St. Jude's. That tournament is going down this year. And the other one is the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame auction. So bassfishinghof.com, page 3 of the for sale or the for auction items, and you can bid on it. Right now, the current bid's at $65. So what I want to do is, I told these guys, I said, listen, I said, the Day 4 fans, they show out when it comes to supporting bass fishing and supporting Frank. I said, so put this thing in the auction. I said, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was one of the highest bids. So we got a little bit of ways to go there.
We got a little ways to go.
Yeah.
I just,
one of the reasons why is I am also giving away a Bass Talk Live experience, Frank.
Oh, that's sweet, dude.
That bid's currently at $620, and it involves $250 for either travel or room, because it's a 2-day deal. So I'm throwing in $250, so you can either get a room right down the road. I don't know who's gonna win it, so I don't want to be like, you can crash with me. You never know how that's
right. Yeah. Hey, dude, easy.
But you get to sit right across from me where you sat when you were here and co-host BTL for a day, and I'll make sure we have a big time guest on.
That's perfect.
And then afterwards, it's gonna be this winter. We're gonna go crappie fishing. We're gonna do the crappie thing, and then I'm gonna fillet your fish, vacuum pack them, and send you home with the fillets and a prize pack. I'm gonna give you a crappie rod from Denali and a prize pack from AFCO and Sunline.
Oh man, I'm bidding on it.
So you can get in and bid on that as well. It's called the Bass Talk Live experience there on page 3. Last time it involved Jeffrey's bowling, but he's literally coaching full time for a bowling team.
Yeah, he's busy, man. He's busy.
The other thing that I noticed on here is the Randy Blockett instructional jerkbait trip. I kind of want to bid on that and then wear a chesty and just talk to him about how many more fish we'd be catching if we were utilizing forward-facing sonar. But that just might be my own.
You have to do that.
But I would love to see, and we will hammer this home. We're going to actually do Day 4 on Day 3 because the Hall of Fame banquet is on
Thursday.
Thursday.
So Day 4 is going to be Wednesday.
So day 4 is going to be on Wednesday. We're going to hammer it home again on Wednesday. The bids are open right now for both the Bass Talk Live experience and the Frank Scalish 1-of-1 autograph drawing. If you have any questions, email me, matt@basszone.com, or hit me up on Instagram @MattPangrak. If you have any issues bidding, but it is Bid Pal. We've done it every single year since then. This is the 3rd year that we've given away the trip, and you can bid, or you can support the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame. Was that a fairly good plea there, Frank?
I think it was beautiful, man. I'm going to have to step up my game next time.
Show the drawing one more time.
I'm going to show the drawing one more time, but I'm a little embarrassed. I saw some of the numbers on the other people's stuff. So I'm going to have to up the game next time.
That's an amazing drawing right there. Frame,
literally,
glass front, in your man cave. That would be the deal. And 100% of it goes to the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame.
Which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a good cause, because we need that. We need that in our sport. But yeah, I think next year I'm going to up the game.
Okay.
I want to, I want to, there's a lot of guys out there that I want to beat. That's the competitive
that are on the, I'm just happy right now I'm beating Jason Christie's trip on 10 killer. If I can outbid Jason Christie, that would make my day.
Well, so far you're doing it.
So far,
let's keep the drive alive.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's open for the next 4 days. If you or anybody, you know what, if you want to double up, on that Bass Talk Live experience, like I'll do 2 guys too. You can do the crappie thing with 2, and I'll just have to flip flop guys for half of the show.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But if that,
then 2 dudes could split.
Yeah.
They can go.
The other one, and I will say, big thanks to Ben Milliken. He's giving away a day of fishing in Texas this winter. Like, you get a chance to jump in the boat with Milliken, with the big baits, with all that stuff, at no charge. And he doesn't do that.
No, he does not.
No, that's not his thing. And I called him and I was like, hey man, I think this would be good. You're in the Classic this year. This would be a great support to the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame. And he's like, he literally thought about it. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm in. We're good. And he's going to do a YouTube video of it too.
Dude,
so
I want
to be in one of Ben's. That. Yeah. You can get on there and bid on it. You'd have the money if you didn't have a motor that you had to put.
Yeah, I have a motor very much like an ex-wife. It looked really good in the beginning, but became very costly.
Oh God, that's great.
Holy moly.
Oh my gosh.
There's
At that note, what else we got? Frank, before we wrap things up tonight?
I don't know. I apologize for going in the Crappie Chronicles. But
no, the Crappie Chronicles is what my buddy Bart does. Have you watched that series?
No, I haven't. So I'm sorry we did Crappie Talk Live today.
Don't apologize for Crappie Talk Live. We can talk about whatever we want to talk about. Mark Jeffrey's tagline used to be bass fishing and whatever, or anything else, and anything else we want to talk about.
That's true.
Now, unfortunately, in the last several years, that divulged mainly into bowling, weather, and finances. But
that's so true. That is so true.
But I feel like crappie is not a very far stretch from that.
It's not. And in honesty, I mean, we talked some football. We talked,
little Taylor Swift.
Little Taylor. We mixed it up.
My favorite Taylor Swift song is Snow on the Beach.
Okay, so I don't really have a favorite song because I only listen to her music when it comes on the radio.
I seek it out.
Yeah, I don't seek it out.
Snow on the Beach is it's haunting. But it's also very well written.
Could be where you saw The Ghost.
With Lana Del Rey, I believe, is the co-author of that as well.
Good for you, man. You know everything.
I won't go that far. I'm not a genius. Wednesday. Do you have any idea what we're talking about on Wednesday, Frank? We're going to figure that out when we get to Wednesday.
I do not. Send in some requests, guys. DM me with requests.
All right,
Wednesday.
This has been another edition, an evening edition of Day 4 with the man, Frank Scalish. We'll see everybody Wednesday for Day 4, which is usually on a Thursday, on a Wednesday next week.
But it's going to be the normal time, right?
I think so. We have to discuss that because I have to go help set up for the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame, but I'm not sure what time they need me there.
Got it. Okay.
We'll figure it out.
Wednesday.
All right, everybody. See ya.